and welcome back everyone to the Wide League. Once again, it's Rtsannn here with Tingz, and we're going to cover the losers finals for you here on this stream right now.
I'm so excited to see this. If you weren't here earlier, we were just watching the loser semifinals between Jungle Blissey OP and Perfect Exeggcution, and it went to game of 3. I'm not hoping for this, but I'm also hoping for a game of 3 again. But in the loser semifinal, Perfect Exeggcution took home the win 1-2, which means that they are in the losers finals against In10tional Throwing, and I am super excited.
Yep, one thing that is for sure is that both team names are just so amazing. I think all of the team names are just so surprising. And yeah, you know, I'm just wondering what they're kind of going to come into this game with, you know, in terms of their team composition, and are they going to be able to kind of adapt to each other. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm really hoping to see a game 3 as well.
Same. Let's see what they're going to be picking here. Nice, and it looks like we're already seeing a little bit of difference between each team, or maybe not actually. As we said, over on the right-hand side, we have Perfect Exeggcution. On the left-hand side, we have In10tional Throwing. On Perfect Exeggcution, they are choosing some things that look a little similar. Lily on that Machamp. Oh, maybe not. Spoke too soon, but on the left-hand side, it looks like they're pretty locked in. We're seeing a Greninja again. We're seeing a Wiggly. We're seeing an Aegislash, Serena, and a Mime. I'm super excited to see Wiggly. I am a Wiggly main, so this makes my heart sing.
I also play Wiggly a lot, and I do really like this pick, especially with the fact that, you know, every team right now has that Mime, and with Wiggly Unite, you are just able to completely remove Mimes Unite in some sense, and because it works in an area of effect, I think it's an extremely good and useful move with this patch that we have right now.
I agree, and on execution side, we see mostly some similar ideas as they had in the previous matches that they've played, except instead of an Aegislash, they actually have a Trevenant, and I know that my mod is singing right now as his main is Trevenant, and he's gonna be so excited to see it in competition right now.
Yeah. I think this is a very interesting pick because I'm just wondering if they have enough damage with the team composition that they have, right? As compared to just now with the Aegislash. Trevenant is really disruptive, I would say, but it doesn't have that much damage output. So it really comes down to how they kind of execute a team fight, whether or not this Trevenant is able to be in the front lines, causing a lot of disruption, especially with the fact that they have a Mime as well as Delphox.
Exactly. Sorry if you are hearing some New York City traffic in the background. My apologies, but it does look like, at least on execution side, both the Mime and the Tree, not the Mime, the Machamp and the Tree are going for stacking so that they have as much damage as possible, which is something that you noted you're worried about. Ooh, Machamp getting caught out there by the Serena, and Serena getting some free points off that to get some stacks in there, and about three to four stacks now, and that's going to give them both levels and more damage to scale up off of.
Yeah, this Serena is becoming quite scary already with the amount of stack that he's managing to get. But, you know, Glaceon has already rotated up, and that means on the other side, they have to make sure to play a little bit more carefully because they have a lot of burst on this Pokemon.
Yeah, and it looks like they are, those bees disappeared real quick, but it is scary. If you look at the levels, Serena's the same level as a jungler already. We see Wiggly's already at 4.5. They already have that really tough to counter Sing move, and it does look like they're going to try to catch out as many people as possible here. They're going in. Are they going to be able to take out Tree as well? But no, Tree manages to take out Serena, getting that level and evolving all the way into a Trevenant, and they're going to go in and see whether they can get any picks here. Ooh, Greninja in a dangerous spot, and Glaceon manages to get that, but they're slept by Wiggly as they go in with some little pounds here to try to get as much damage done as possible. They are also dangerously low here.
Yeah, you definitely have to be very careful about this Glaceon. Oh, look at Rrustic.
Oh my gosh, getting out with 1 HP and a Dream and a KO there. That Aegislash doing a good rotation to make sure that none of that farm gets uncontested, as it looks like Mime on execution sides and whoa. Words. Sword.
Oh, much fight happening.
But it looks like Trevenant gets taken out, leaving Serena to cap once again, making more stacks here. Is Aegislash going to be able to get out? No, they just barely get taken out. Is Greninja going to get out? Yes, that smokescreen saving them here, as it looks like they're going to try to see if they can get any aggression here on EXP as well. But everyone gets out mostly safely. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Wow.
I said everyone got out safely, but we just switched to Machamp being taken out there. Oh no!
The fights are just never ending in this game. It seems like, you know, so many things going on both lanes as well as in the central area right there. And even now, they are just fighting over, you know, the farm that is available. And now, I think finally now we're gonna have a little bit of a short break in the fights. Okay, so yes.
A little bit of a break as everyone waits for their teammates to rotate. You don't want anyone to be taken out unnecessarily as both objectives have both spawned. It is 6:50, but no one's aggressing anything. Everyone's just kind of dancing around, seeing if they can get a pick here. Looks like Aegislash is staying bot on intentional throwing side, but it looks like they are going to go for that. They're going to try to do as much damage as possible. Ooh. Tree with a curse getting in last minute to get that snipe as the ults start coming out. We see ults coming out left and right here, but it looks like, will they be able to get out safely? No, Mime goes down on intentional throwing side. It looks like Greninja gets taken out as well, and this is going to be a free walk-in of Lecky for Exeggcution here.
Oh, it seems like the Lecky does go only to the tier 1 go zone, and they're not gonna push it into the tier 2. But I think that was a really amazing gameplay coming in from them. They kind of, I thought that it was definitely going to the side of, you know, intentional throwing, but they managed to actually get it with the Aegislash. So I think they have to be very careful, right? Aegislash does have a little bit more bursty move as compared to them at that point, so have to be careful for such snipe for sure.
Exactly, and you know, we saw that gave them really the opportunity, both the KOs and walking in that Lecky and breaking that T1 meant that they could really aggressive farm. They were free to get some buffs. They were free to get all that middle farm. But we see a fight coming in out here as Indy goes in with that Mime into intentional throwing side. But they do get taken out aggressed by 3 different people as Rrustic is walking up trying to make sure that they're able to get that EXP from Regice here so that they can try to aggress this T1 here. Omega, the Serena going in. Will they be able to get a pick? They do. They take up Lily and they take down Delphox here as everyone is just taking out ults left and right. Saotorii being zoned off here as they try to get some scores in, and they do get some score. Nope, that tree ult stopping them, but actually Aegislash gets that goal and they manage to break that T1, and everyone's trying to back off here now that they are catching up in points.
Yep, they definitely don't want to be throwing their bodies at the other team, considering the fact that they do have the lead in terms of the points as well as the EXP and levels. So they do back off over there, just making sure, you know, Rrustic is there to kind of just defend the goal zone just a little bit. Don't want them to be getting in any free dunks and getting a bit more EXP. At the same time, Regieleki is about to spawn, so both teams are starting to make their rotations up top for this objective.
Yeah, it looks like Tree's going to get a little bit of an early start here, just hitting it lightly to see whether that can cause intentional throwing to start panicking. Intentional throwing, not panicking, just hitting it kind of gently. That Greninja doing a significant amount of damage here as everyone starts picking up fights. Indy's ult coming out yet again. He has it already to try to get out some picks, but the other mine's all coming in. Greninja all coming in, doing a significant burst damage. They almost take everyone. They do take out Serena. They do take out there. They're trying to get that Tree there too, but it looks like one member of intentional throwing's team side is down. 2 members are down. 3 members are down as only 1 member of Perfect Execution's team is down, leaving them free to get this. But Rrustic looks like they're going to see whether they can snipe this. Nope. Intentional throwing is backing off here.
Yep, I think Perfect Execution definitely had a little bit more in terms of the team fight right there. They had a little bit more unite moves, and they definitely used it at the right time to get the team fights and also split the other team up, and that allows them to get the Regieleki as well as, you know, the farm in the central area, and they're making good use of the entire map, right, to get the EXP that they need, as well as to rotate down to the bottom for the next objective.
Yeah, and you can see here as these fights are going in, wow, they're really trying to get some picks here. Aegislash really trying to go in. That Wiggly ult coming out finally, but Indy manages to take out Greninja there, and they're trying to really aggressive. They might be behind. They might have the same number of goals up, but they are still behind in points. Whether they know that or not, I'm not sure, but they do still really want to get these scores and to try to open up the map as much as possible for them to get these scores, but it looks like they're backing off. Rrustic living on a dream here, but they do get taken out. Saotorii rotating down here, taking out Serena here. Oh, no, Serena gets taken out, but the rest of intentional throwing is here, rotating down to try to protect this T1 and make sure they're not able to take it. And it looks like Perfect Execution's dancing around to try to make sure, trying to not get taken out, but they are going to secure that Regice for free here.
Yep, but then I think the other team has already rotated down a little bit, trying to just make sure that they defend this goal zone. They don't want them to have any more chances at coming back. And at the same time, AJ Slash at top lane manages to dunk. Oh no, he does not manage to dunk. And you know what? We're seeing a lot of value come out of Tibi's Trevenant, right? Just being able to hold the front line extremely well for his team, making sure that the Glaceon and Delphox is able to do what they need to do, and at the same time making sure that the Pokemons on the other side isn't able to get the fights and EXP that they need.
And you know, they do have the same number of goals up as we go into this final stretch, the 2-minute mark, but intentional throwing is a little bit ahead, just barely by what, 5 points, but they don't know that. All they're seeing is that the other team still has a T1 up, so they're going to dance around here. Are they going to go for a back cap? Are they going to go for a score? It looks like Wiggly's going to try to go for a back cap here, but they get caught out by the Machamp, so they use their Sting to try to get out. They're really low here. It looks like Saotorii wanted to go in for the KO there, but they didn't get it, so they're backing off and gently hitting that instead as Exeggcution goes in for a small back cap. Mon getting in 72 points. They either really need to get a back cap here, or they really need to secure Rayquaza here, dancing around that central area a little bit as they see if they can get some picks. Big fight happening up here. Serena tries to catch out someone. Machamp coming out. That fire spin really detrimental, getting that Serena KO. Rrustic coming in here with the Sing, just barely getting out the half health. Greninja separated out a bit. That Surf finding a second KO on that Machamp. Ults coming out left and right. Oh, wow.
So many Unite moves being popped here right there, and I think Indy's Unite moves just did it for their team. Bringing down, two Pokemons on the other side, and that means they have time to just stall. And even with this 50 points, the score is so close. Rrustic manages to... No, he did not manage to escape, but oh my goodness, I don't know which side is going to win at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Tibi's going to try to go for a score here, and Rrustic, while that KO on Greninja was really detrimental, they weren't able to keep any of their damage up, so they chose to go for some back caps instead. But it does mean that they're still slightly behind on points here, and they don't know it. They're just barely behind, but they still need to score a little bit more. They're being zoned off by Indy's bullying light screens here, but are they going to choose to go for the pit, or are they going to choose to go for some scores? It looks like they're going to try to team fight for some scores here, but that Trevenant is really oppressive in trying to be able to get any damage out here, but they get another score in just barely. Are they gonna be able to stop the Mime score? Mime gets in 26 points. Is that enough? I can't tell anymore. It was so close. We'll have to see what ends up happening. Oh my god, Indy getting in another 10 points. Oh no, what's gonna happen?
Oh my goodness.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm impatiently awaiting this score. What will happen?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Indy's last minute score gave them the win just barely. Oh my gosh. Not able to stop that 5 cap. Such a sad thing to see, but also so exciting to see last minute. Oh my gosh.
Smoked. This game has been such a treat to watch. I mean, just looking at them go all out in all the fights from the very early game and all the way towards the end, and this game without any contest for Rayquaza at all, and the score just being this close. Oh my goodness, what is this game?
Yeah, what is this game? This was truly, as chat is saying, like a nail biter here. This was truly a nail biter. What a fun game to watch. That Rayquaza fight that never ended up happening. We saw a lot of ults come out, mostly to just stop one another from scoring. The whole time, even though intentional throwing was behind on goals, they were on head of points for a really long time, up until basically the final stretch. So they did a really good job of staying ahead in points, but that last 10-point cap from Indy really sealed the deal.
Yeah, I think both teams, with the rotations that they had a lot of chances for sneak dunks, and they actually did it really well. But then in these 10 dunk, oh my goodness, just a little bit too much for intentional throwing to deal with at this point. But this game has just shown how close it actually is, and I think they're gonna bring this kind of game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, and in the loser semifinals that we just watched, before we saw that perfect execution. They won the first match as well, but as we know, the first game is always about just figuring out how does the other team play? What do they like to do, and how can you account for that? Do you need to change anything in the comp based on what they've done? And so I'm curious to see, again, whether they're going to change the comp or stick with everything because it's been working. You know, we were worried about that tree initially, that tree pick when switching out Machamp for a tree, but that tree ended up coming in very clutch there, made a lot of damage, created a lot of space for the team to be able to do what they needed to do. And Indy's mime at the end, it's so hard to stop those small points, especially when you're just a little wiggly tough and all you have is a slap or a dazzling gleam. And, you know, it's hard to stop those kinds of scores from going in. So can't blame them at all for that one.
Yep, for sure. And I think going into game 2 and looking at how these two teams play, right, I think what I want to see from this game is definitely how they kind of deal with each other's rotation. Are they going to make sure that they kind of have to make sure that the other team isn't getting all these sneaky dunks in, because as we have seen in that game, it all counts and it all really matters.
Yeah, I'm curious whether we're going to see the Wiggly again, and if we do, whether they're going to go for more scores. I did notice that they were using a score shield though, so let's see what they end up choosing for their comps this game. And we're into game 2 of the losers finals, and it looks like they're going for almost the same thing, basically. At least on intentional throwing side, they're going to keep the same comp. We're going to see that Wiggly again. We're going to see that Mime, that Aegislash, the Serena, the Greninja. On the other side, we're actually seeing the trees swapped out for a oh god, what's his name? Charizard. Oh yeah, that's his name. But we also see Crustle instead of Delphox and a Garchomp. Hello?
What is happening? And okay,
we're seeing some changes here. Oh, okay.
That's a lot of changes in the last 5 seconds of the character selection screen.
Oh, but they do change out that tree back for the Machamp. It makes me wonder whether the tree was an intentional pick or whether they had hovered it and then they didn't get to go to Machamp in time. But they're back to what they were doing originally. So I'm curious to see whether the Machamp pick ends up working out for them as well as the tree pick did. Functionally, you know, in some ways they do work similarly. The tree also, like Machamp, can push people away, create that similar kind of space, but the tree just has so much more sustain, especially when you're running first, being able to get that HP back. So we'll see whether the Machamp will last as long in fights as the tree was able to.
Yeah, and of course, I think the main issue with going with a Machamp is that you need some time for it to scale up to the level 9 Machamp, and so before that, in the early game, it's going to have a lot of trouble, especially if they are opting for the 1-1-3 against, you know, the Serena as well as the other Pokemon, which is the other Pokemon in the top lane? Oh,
that's a really good question. I can't see their icons right now. Jigglypuff? Wiggly? But we are seeing actually an invade from Tibi, which we did see in the loser semifinals. We're not seeing a rotation. Oh, we do see a rotation actually from Mime, but Tibi does secure that EXP, but they get that back with the rotation from Mime there. But it does mean, will that mean that puts back their EXP in the leveling for Greninja again? For Greninja, that can be a death sentence for their team, because that is getting the levels on Greninja, who really needs that level 7, that surf, in order to be super effective. And getting it late can really mean that your team misses out on being able to do a lot of team fights here. So I'm wondering that that's going to put them behind. Indy trying to aggress here, getting Mime out, that flash coming in clutch, and everyone gets out safely.
Yep, and it seems like our question has been answered. It is that Jiggly at the top lane, Rrustic trying to eagerly try for his level 4, but at the same time, you know, now it's a little bit hard for them. Ooh.
Yeah, they get the levels, they do get some KOs there, but at what cost? Because the entire top lane gets taken out as Machamp gets a free score in, and Greninja is still just not even a Greninja. Still, what is that, Froakie? There's still a Froakie here, which is really tough. 823, and they're only a level 4. They're going to need a lot of EXP to catch up, but they're really missing on a lot of that, and they're not going to be, we'll see whether they'll be able to even get close to level 9 by the 7-minute mark. We see a fight for a score for EXP happening here. Couldn't really tell which team it just went to, but a lot of free rotations happening. We see Tibi, the Aegislash on execution time, going in yet again for that invade, trying to see if they can take any of that EXP. We see Yoshi pulling back. Oh, Rrustic coming in, anticipating this invade. They're going to go for the KO before they try to secure the farm. Will they get it, or will they get the EXP first? Tibi gets out with it again. They secure it, but they get the KO and they get that buff back.
I mean, both times he goes down, but at the same time, Yoshi is just not getting the EXP that he needs. He's still level 6 at this point, and I don't think that's where you want to be as that Greninja, the hyper kind of carry coming in for your team. So I think they kind of have to play a little bit more passively, try and find ways to get more farm instead of engaging in team fights, because they need to make sure that their team comes online as soon as possible, and it's not looking too good for them.
Yeah, we already see that one goal has been broken. The T1 on intentional throwing side has been broken on bottom. We see that they're leading on execution side by 60 points, not quite being able to stop Tibi from taking all the berries and getting the scores in on Machamp's side. Lucky evolution there, just barely avoiding damage from Greninja. Greninja now has that 7. They have that Surf. It's going to be scary, but they don't have an ult on their side, whereas Glaceon already is level 8 and therefore has their ult here.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting is they are not looking for a fight right now. They are going for the Registeel, and that's going to give them a lot of EXP that they need to actually be able to contest against the other side, right? Which is exactly what we were talking about. So, but at the same time, they do manage to break the tier 1 goal zone, and that means Regieleki will be going straight for the tier 2.
They got a good overcap there as well with both Machamp and Mime scoring. They do get a 22-point overcap, and now that they've broken that, they really want to get these points, these scores into the T2, giving them a super early point lead. We see that Glaceon all coming out doing so much damage. Lily pushing them off with that Machamp all doing so much damage here. That Greninja all coming out and find so many targets, but so much of their team is out. They're going to be taken down really quickly, getting that Aleki in and getting some really big scores here. They're going to break that cap as well, leaving them on intentional throwing side with only 2 goals open, that base and that bottom T2, and it also leaves the map free for them to farm on execution.
Perfect execution coming in really strong in the second game, 84 to 276, and not even giving the other team any form of space to farm any Pokemon at all. They have so much control over the entire map, and they also have the go zones, so they have a lot of map control, and this is very scary for intentional throwing.
Intentional throwing, no one has their ults yet still except for Greninja and Wiggly, who just got it, but Wiggly's backing off. They do catch out Serena there, which is so unfortunate with that Delphox ult. That Delphox ult doing slowing heals, slowing movement, doing damage at the same time, lasting forever, coming back so quickly. So hard to work against, and they managed to protect their T1 goal on bottom as well.
Yep, I think perfect executions, rotations, and map control is just so strong at this point. It's very hard for intentional throwing to kind of come in here. They have to kind of group up, try to find a straggler on the other side in order for them to, you know, find at least some value and some EXP before they can even get some points in.
Yeah, and this is where it's really detrimental to have lost Dreadnought on this map. Even if you get that Reggie on the bottom, the only people who get EXP are the ones who's actually hit it. But huge ult from Greninja here, but they're not able to find any KOs here with Mime dangerously low. They have to back out, but they end up finding that pick off of Mime, Machamp getting that KO there again, and Aegislash trying to just get some farm again. That's really the best thing you can do when you're not able to get a lot of team fights in, when you're not able to get a lot of the objectives. You just want to level up as much as possible, because it looks like even Mime still is missing their ult. They need to really get as much EXP as they can. They're not going to try to aggress Aleki here or the Reggie on the bottom, because they just don't have the levels, the ult, or the damage to be able to fight against what the other team is bringing to the table right now.
Yeah, I feel like they should have probably all kind of committed to the Registeel instead, and making sure, you know, that since they know that the other team was actually going to go for Lecky, and maybe they would have found some value in getting a knockout over there, or even breaking the tier 1 go zone. But now it kind of seems like, yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do, right?
Yeah, we see a KO from Aegislash there. It looks like they're doing they did a full rotation bot to try to get that distraction from Aleki, getting it away from that top goal to try to score in their bottom, goal, but they've realized what's happening on intentional throwing side, and they all rotated, so everyone has backed off a bit. But this is almost a 200-point lead on for perfect execution. They have a huge lead here, and they're really looking for picks to try to keep them as low level on the other team as possible. They find Rrustic here. Is Rrustic going to be able to get out? Yeah, it looks like Machamp's gonna just dive out. Delphox helping out here a little bit to just make sure that everyone gets out safe and they don't give up too much EXP here.
Yeah, they have to be careful though.
Oh no! Oh no, that was a moment of silence and grief for that catch out there in that push. We just saw what happened, and we just had to have a moment of silence to see that. But it looks like they have so much control over the map right now on perfect execution side, and there's so little safety for intentional throwing here, because they've lost so many of their goals here, and they're finding it really hard to be able to aggress the other people's goals. Oh, big pick there, being able to take out that Delphox. They're giving them some levels here, but they back off because they are taking a lot of damage here. They are losing a lot of health.
Yep, I think that pick itself was really extremely important for their side. I think to get some key EXPs for the team, even if they're not winning in terms of the points, at least you know the levels are looking much better than it was before, and they are able to probably take a team fight better now, considering that the level of differences isn't that big.
Yeah,
they
level
do,
differences.
however,
need
to make sure that they defend this Rrustic.
Yeah, they need to make sure they aggressive. Who gets it? The Aegis Slash on the other side goes and gets it on the perfect execution, secures it for yet again a third time here, and we see this is going to be their middle fight. This is going to be their Rayquaza fight. Big ult from Greninja. Are they going to be able to capitalize on it? No, they get taken out almost immediately, and everyone on intentional throwing is taken out. This is going to walk for free into that base goal. Machamp putting in the work there. Tree might be gone, but Machamp is still doing so much for them. Will they be able to get this in? They do take out the Aegis Slash, but Serena's back on, but the Lucky walks in. But will they be able to score? They're so low here. Will they be able to get those points in? They do, because they're able to insta-score. Indy taken out before he can get that 100 cap in. Will Machamp be able to get in? They just barely get it in with 1 HP, but they're being cleaned up here. But no execution is taken out. Intentional throwing is taken out too, with 2 players on execution left alive to score even more here.
That was honestly just extremely good gameplay coming in from perfect execution. I think, you know, they really had extremely good rotations, as well as, you know, taking the team fights, going for the right objectives, and I think that just didn't leave the other team any space at all to kind of come back. And I think this game is kind of in the bag already.
Yeah, for sure. Even though there's a minute left, they would need to score 600 points. So that's everyone having full pockets, as well as scoring another 100 points. But everyone is contesting this, but so much damage is being done here. But intentional throwing does secure that, but so much of their team is already taken out. Only Wiggly left, and Wiggly's HP is rapidly depleting as they're being chased down, using that Sing to try to get out as fast as possible. And Rrustic doing a little dance, but no, they're being dealt damage. No one wants to dance with Wiggly. Poor Wiggly here. Oh, and they do end that here. Oh no. But GG's to both sides. Wonderful dancing from both parties involved.
Oh my goodness. That end picture of Wiggly and Mime kind of just looking at each other was kind of funny. But you know, this game is definitely going to the side of perfect execution. I think they did extremely well in this game. They got the timings right. I mean, just look at the scores and how they kind of just snowballed right from the start of the game.
Yeah, they had a lead and they maintained the lead the entire game, making sure it was so hard for intentional throwing to be able to catch up at all, making it really difficult for them to be able to even think about scoring, much less think about getting any of the objectives. And you know, that made them made intentional throwing fall behind on EXP, and made it really hard to try to think about even grouping for objectives or getting anything there that could help them potentially catch up and win the game. In perfect execution with that perfect execution yet again.
Yeah, definitely something that we expected from them. But at the same time, I think it was really nice to have a Wiggly in the match this time. And yeah, just looking at it, have fun with all the Sing moves just makes me so happy.
And so that is the losers finals, which is the best of 3, 2 consecutive wins by perfect execution. Perfect execution will be going on to the grand finals. They will be going against Blazing V Stars. Congratulations to perfect execution.